Hello guys, welcome back to Solid Motion FX for another short Cinema 4D FUMEFX tutorial. This time we'll be looking at volumes inside when we use an object source, when we use the volume type. So here I have a short three small letters and I want to look at the three different types we have, namely the shell, solid and then volume. So let's just go ahead and create a FUMEFX grid. So as usual, I'll go up to my FUMEFX layout and add in a FUMEFX grid. And let's see, let's just adjust the size on the grid. Like so, play with the length and the height. Like so. And then we'll go in and add three object sources. Why we add three is because we want three different types. So this one we'll name this shell, and let's just bring in two others. Solid, and then volume, like so. So let's just take it from the top. The first one will use a volume, so for this object source we'll go in and add in this letter, like so. And for the solid, let's see the next one, that's the second one in the row, we'll add that one. And for the shell will be the last one, this one. So just drag that into your object list. And what we do now is go into volume, type, change it to volume, and then the solid, it's already default stated on solid, so that's good. For the last one, shell, make sure it's set to shell, like so. So now we have these three different objects sources. You can see the icons there here, but we don't really need them, they're just there, we're not going to be rendered out. So let's ensure that we have them inside our FUMEFX. Go into the FUMEFX UI and choose object sources. We only have the shell in, so let's bring in the solid and the volume, and then let's go into the FUMEFX general tab. It's the spacing, we can bump that up for pre-sims, and let's also give some frames to play with, so bump that up to 300, the output 300, and playback 300. Viewport, enable the GPU viewport. Then let's go into the simulation, crank up the quality. Remember, we don't want any fire, we just want to see see some smoke here, just for demonstration purposes. So disable that. And let's see what else. We want the smoke to go down, so let's play with the gravity. We have the gravity here, -2, and also the floor here, which is the cube. Let's put a collider tag on that. Go up to tags, FUMEFX tags, collision object, and in the object type change this to solid, and then go back to your FUMEFX object source. Remember, whatever you want to collide with the simulation, you have to put it in here as well in the object list. So bring in your cube, but it won't work if you haven't already put the collision tag on it. So now that's on. Let's go back to the FUMEFX simulation tab, and let's see, X turbulence 0.5, detail levels, scales 10, let's go in and we don't want the fuel, but we want the smoke. Give it whatever color you want, grayish. So let's just do a quick sim, see what we got. And let's go ahead and stop it for now, and let's look at what we got. So it's hard to tell actually what we're seeing right now, so but let's go in and disable the views on our geometry, the text here, and let's do another render. So as you can see, the first one was the volume, so basically it goes in and fill the whole text up. So it's just the inside, it fills the inside completely. The next one is the solid, and the solid compared to the shell, the last one, you can see the solid actually makes an outline of the geometry, but then it's still going from the outer line and emit from there. And then you have the shell as the last one, and the shell basically just means it fills only the surface of the object, where the solid, it fills the surface of the objects, but the interior will be interpreted as a solid object, so nothing can pass through it. That's how it's documented inside the FUMEFX Cinema 4D documentation. So let's go into the simulation again, and let's crank up the speed a little bit. So let's give it some more turbulence, and the time scale 1.9, and let's see, we could actually also bump up the spacing. We don't want that much detail right now, and let's do another sim so we can see if when it collides with the floor. And let's do a quick stop here, see what we got. I also want to make sure that actually it can collide with the floor, so that would mean if we go back, let's just first do a quick render here. Okay, if we look at the layer again and go back, so what we are seeing actually, let's just rise them up a little bit, and then for the floor itself, ensure that it's not below the grid, like so, and disable that one again. And we can also just play with the colors. Remember that, go into the FUMEFX if you want to complete another color, not for the fire but for the smoke. Let's see here. Let's try this color, and it instantly changes. Let's do another sim. Yeah, so here you definitely see that it's playing with the it's reacting with the ground floor. That's pretty obvious. So here there's definitely some interesting things you can do with this. Let's stop it and make another render. So you see there's definitely some little more detail here when you have the solid compared to the volume, but the volume is good for other purposes as well. So this was just to give you some ideas here. You can also add in a wind force here, and let's go into the FUMEFX object source, ensure that you have the wind is there. So let's just scale this wind up. Let's rotate it so it's pointing on the right x-axis upwards a little bit, and let's go into the wind And remember, you can actually animate these, right? So let's just say that you have no strength on at the time frame, frame 0. The strength is non-existent, so let's add a keyframe there. Go to time here, frame 18, and then one hit, and then just 2.5, like so. And then let's try to sim it again. So when it gets to the frame where it's actually gonna use the force, then you should see the wind have an effect on the smoke. And now we should start. Let's see how it's gonna affect it. Yeah, you can start to see it is drifting a little bit right, so it's actually impacting it right now. And let's do a quick render. See what we got. Yeah, you can see it's affecting it already, so that's good. That's what we wanted. So one more thing I wanted to show you. So here's an image. That's my little guy I use in my animations. An image, just a Mixamo character. If you spell animate backwards, you'll get cinema. So let's see here. When just play the animation, he's just walking. Very short little animation, right? And basically what I did is I choose all the I select all the mesh, and then I right click and choose bake as Olympic and delete. When I do that, then I get an Olympic version out of him, and I have him here, and then I can actually start using him in my FUMEFX. So let's go in and add a FUMEFX. Just see how far he goes. He goes there. So into the FUMEFX, General tab, play with the length. Give it some width, like so, just to ensure we cover him completely. Okay, that's cool. Like so, and we could actually narrow down a little bit. Remember, it calculates each voxel inside of this grid, so it's gonna take unnecessary computer power if you don't choose your grid wisely. So now that's on. Let's go to the viewport, enable GPU, and add an object source. In the object source, let's go in and add these parts we want. We want the top, the head, the hair. We only got the body, the shoes, like so, and the eyes. Now we have him in here, and we want him to emit some smoke. So what we do now you can go and disable all these. So this is the fun part now. Let's go into FUMEFX, object source, he's already in here. Let's go to General tab. The spacing is good for now. Go into the simulation tab and bump up the quality. Time scale 1.7. Don't need the eviction stripe, we can lower that to 0.5-ish. Vorticity, the swirls, we can leave that as it is. Give it some turbulence, scale down to 5, detail levels up. This is scale on the noise, as we talked about. Let's keep our blocking on the Z. And fuel, disable that, we don't want burning for now. Rendering, let's give him a nice color here. And let's actually also add a floor we can collide with. Remember, keep the floor above the grid so we can collide with it. And then in the cube, go up to the FUMEFX tags, add a collision tags, make it a solid, just as the same workflow as before. Go into the FUMEFX object source, and it's in there. Drag the cube down there, like so. Go back to FUMEFX now. So this is what we have right now. Let's actually try to do a quick sim. Pretty cool, huh? And let's stop it here. So you actually get sort of a smoke man coming against you here, right? Look at that. So now you can really see some cool stuff you can make with FUMEFX right here. Let's do a quick render, and of course add in some light. Play with the colors a little bit here. Greenish, if you want that. And remember, let's go into the FUMEFX illumination and add in the light, but otherwise it won't impact it, like so. Okay, let's go into the FUMEFX and lower the increasing a little bit the spacing so we can get some more detail. 0.7. Let's do another sim. Let's stop it here. I would like to see some more smoke on them, so go back into the object source and crank up the smoke to 3.5. And let's actually go in and make the animation go a little faster, so just play with the settings here. Do another sim. Okay, let's stop it here. And it also looks like he comes to a pause here. So when you look at the four views like this, it's only your perspective view that will show you your sim in real-time render, compared to your top right. This will just show the voxels. So play it back. And again, you can always go in and play with the settings, lower the opacity, it'll be a bluish color maybe. Do a quick render, get a little more detail here, and as you see, he's walking, and then he comes to a stop here. Then what you can do, then go in and play with the object source active. So at frame 40, add a keyframe on the active parameter, go one step, 2 frames ahead, and then disable the active, like so, and then do another sim again. So now it's gonna pass through that frame 42. So now the object source is not active anymore, so it's not connected to the parts of the character. So as you see now it's just dispersed upwards. You could also make another cool thing. Let's just stop it here. Add in gravity here. Let's go into the FUMEFX, ensure that it's in the object source. Put in the gravity. Let's go into the gravity. And let's play with the main gravity inside the FUMEFX. It was around 40. So in the sim tab, go into the gravity here. At frame 42, enable, put a keyframe, a couple of frames ahead, and then we will lower this something drastically, -4. Add another keyframe, like so. And let's do another sim. So we're getting there. Let's see what's gonna happen. And playing with the wind, the gravity, these kind of things, you can actually create some nice cool animation. You could create something like he's dispersing at a specific frame, or that he's coming from the ground and up. Even you can make these effects where the smoke comes through a keyhole and then it morphs into a person, like the sand effect in The Mummy. Those kind of things. So that's really some cool use cases you can use this for. And just look now where the gravity is taking effect. It's just pulling down the smoke into the floor, because the gravity is taking that drastic effect of -4. So definitely some cool use cases you can use this for. So I encourage you to explore. And I think that's it for this short tutorial. Please stay tuned, and I'll of course come back with another tutorial very soon. Please subscribe, leave a comment, thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. Thank you very much.